Well, when you need to hire someone, you might turn to Google to look up a business.
But watch out because you could get tricked. Our Allison Gormley tells us what's the deal.
A garage door repair company and a locksmith tell me that their reputations are being hurt by bad actors changing their Google profiles. Garage doors and locksmiths are especially targeted because they're often hired one time in an emergency.
It's just these little boxes up here.
Garage doors make Ryan Daniel tick.
I just fell in love with it. It's kind of weird.
And in a world where reviews can make or break a business, the feedback was making his business.
We were a 5-star with like 32 reviews.
So he was shocked when bad reviews began rolling in. After some digging, he learned his jobs were being intercepted.
This company had gotten onto our Google and edited our phone number out and put their phone number in. So when people look us up and hit the call button, instead of it calling us, it calls them.
Google allows users to suggest an edit to help keep a company's information current. However, in the wrong hands, the edit can send calls to someone else.
They're charging massive amount of money for stuff that people don't need.
When Daniel turned to Google for help,
they suspended my account because I was being deceptive to the public. I've sent them bank statements, I've sent them insurance documents. It's zero help.
His Google business profile eventually disappeared entirely, forcing customers to find him through his website or social media. Locksmith William Borey also ran into issues with his Google profile.
We reported it to Google, they did nothing.
When Borey first started his business, he said the platform opened new doors.
And so we start ranking up and we get to the number 1, 2C and the phone's ringing off the hook.
But after climbing to the top, he says negative reviews began pouring in.
If you're a 4th place locksmith, no one cares. Nobody will touch you, right? And so it's only when you rank up.
Borey insists the bad reviews were fake, but the damage to his income, real.
I am constantly bombarded with requests for help.
Mike Blumenthal knows these stories well because he's made a career out of explaining Google products.
Google loves to make things complicated and hard for business to understand. And so I sort of sit as an interpreter between the language of Google and the language of real people.
While market research is his day job, Blumenthal is also a product expert, helping small businesses solve problems for free on Google support forums.
So this tells you everything you need to know about Google. They want to externalize every cost. They don't see customer service as a profit center.
For many, Google's input system works. But if you're not in that group,
Google does not have an adequate way of filtering out these abuses.
So who is changing the information? Daniel says he traced a number tied to his account to another country.
I actually contacted them and they called me back on an Israel phone number.
As for Borey, he believes the competitor paid people to post bad reviews on his profile. That way, the competitor's name pops up in the search engine ahead of his when someone looks for a locksmith.
We were able to find duplicate reviews as in, hey, this name left this review, and then later down, different name, same exact review text. And so, it was a clear pattern.
After WTHR contacted Google, Borey said most of his bad reviews were cleaned up. To make sure you're hiring who you intended, read the reviews to make sure they make sense, and get contact information directly from company websites and social media pages. Because one wrong number can send your money to a scammer instead of a local business. We reached out to Google several times via email. Once, an employee asked us for links to the companies. So I sent the links available, but never heard back from Google. Allison Gormley, 13 News.